Between 1975 and 1978, about 17,000 men, women, children, and infants, detained and tortured at S-21 prison, were transported to the extermination to death to avoid wasting precious bullets. The remains of 89 I-5 people, many of whom were bound and blindfolded, were exhumed in 1980 from mass graves in this one-time Long and Orchard. 43 of the 1,209 communal graves here have been left untouched. Fragments of human bone and bits of cloth are scattered around the disinterred pits. Over 8,000 skulls arranged by sex are visible behind the clear glass panels of the memorial stupa, which was erected in 1988. The killing fields of Choangek are 15 km from central Phnom Penh. To get there, take Monireth Boulevard southwestward out of the city from the Dang Ko Market Bus Depot. The site is 8.5 km from the bridge near 2071. A memorial ceremony is held annually at Choangek on 9 May. Killing fields of Choangek is situated 15 kilometers southwest of Phnom Penh and made famous by the film of the same name. Killing field. It was a place where more than 17,000 civilians were killed and buried in mass graves. Many of them transported here after detention and torture in Tool Slang. This place is a chilling reminder of the brutalities of the genocidal Khmer Rouge regime. In the center of the area is a 17-story glass stupa, which houses 8,000 skulls exhumed from mass graves. Open daily note. Both Tul Sleng Museum and the Killing Fields exhibits may be disturbing for some, and aren't suitable for younger children and adults who are easily shocked. The Choangek Genocide Museum is located in Choangek Commune, Dankoa District, about 15 km from the center of Phnom Penh. This is the location where the Khmer Rouge took their prisoners for execution. The prisoners were made to wait here for 24 hours before they were killed by a blow to the head, after which their throats were slit. Babies were killed by bashing their heads against a tree. There were separate graves for men, for women, and for children. Former friends of Pol Pot who were executed here had separate graves too. Visitors can walk along Avisim's mass graves, from which the remainders of 9 into 5 men, women and children were unearthed after the liberation of the Khmer Rouge. Some of those skulls, bones, and pieces of clothing are now kept in the nearby massive stupa. There were killing fields all over the country, but Choangek was believed to be the largest every year on the 20th of May. A ceremony is held around the stupa to bring peace to the spirits of the deceased. Sightseeing in Phnom Penh gives the tourist ample opportunity to visit the numerous places in and around the city Choangek. Killing Field in Phnom Penh is a very important place in the city as it has a long history attached to it. The place is really fascinating for all those coming to visit the city. The place has a long history behind it and reminds one of the horrifying times that the people of Cambodia have gone through during the reign of Khmer and after. The Choangek Killing Field at Phnom Penh is one of the most prolific and historic places in Phnom Penh and stands a cruel reminder of the atrocities inflicted upon the masses of Cambodia. The place has become very popular now, as it is the center of all killings which took place in the city and later got christened as the famous Killing Field. The place is really popular as tourists from all over the world come here. The place has really direct links with the horrific past of Cambodia and Phnom Penh. There are many things to see while visiting the Choangek Killing Field in Phnom Penh. The place has been most aptly been named as the Killing Field in Phnom Penh. The place is actually a mass grave where almost 17,000 innocents were slaughtered, mercilessly for no fault of theirs. The place is really frightening and sends a shiver down the spine as one recalls how the place had been transformed into a grave.
There's actually a stupa, which stands in the middle of the area, and it is this stupa which has become the place for housing the 8,000 skulls taken out from the mass graves. Chungik killing field of Phnom Penh is open daily. All are welcome, though it is advised by the authorities that children should be advised and properly guided before they come here. Chungik killing field in Phnom Penh is located at a distance of 15 kilometers away from the southwestern frontiers of Phnom Penh. The Democratic of Kampuchea was led by Pol Pot, a former school teacher. The killing machine of S-21 was a secret prison for torturing, interrogating and depriving those who were accused of illegal activities and accused of being traitors. The Khmer Rouge acted like savage animals with no conscience as they preyed upon the innocent and naive citizens. The Khmer Rouge had turned the peaceful and beautiful Chungik village into the infamous and miserable killing fields. The Pol Pot regime slaughtered people in the thousands without mercy and buried them in mass graves. No matter how much visitors have read or been told about the Khmer Rouge brutality, and the number of people killed, all visitors shall understand the full process of how the tens of thousands of prisoners were executed here. More importantly, visitors can learn about the chain of command established by Pol Pot. Given the way that the Ultra Khmer Rouge regime was organized, a decision for murder was most likely ordered by Brother Number Ohen himself, Pol Pot. Everything had to meet with his approval, even though there is no written proof. However, Sun Sen, who was responsible for national security and defense, and Ducha, commandant at S-21, were directly responsible for killing the prisoners at S-21 and Chungik killing field, and written proof is available. At S-21 there were many documents routed to the party center, and they all passed through Sun Sen's. Dozens of memoranda addressed to him by Dutch have survived. Dutch's queries and annotations have appeared on the prisoners' confessions, often in red ink. More often, Dutch denigrated what the prisoners confessed and suggested beatings and tortures to unearth truth that he thought the prisoners were hiding. These documents display how the upper brothers Sun Sen and Dutch were responsible for the thousands of prisoners' murders at S-21 and Chungik. After getting an instruction to kill from the Central Committee of the regime through Sun Sen, Dutch ordered his deputy Hor to produce a must-smash list, taking orders from Hor and Suan Thai, who were in charge of the documentary unit. The list was prepared. The list was submitted to Dutch for his signature. Then, the signed list was sent to Peng, the head of defense unit, who seems to have been demoted in 1978 when his duties were taken by Hai Yu Peng. Had the keys to all of the cells in the S-21 prison. Based on the list, Peng ordered the guards to remove the must-smash prisoners to be killed. The important and special prisoners like Kio Mias, Nisaran, Hunim, Kui Thuan, Kai Thuan, Cheng An, Onveth, and foreigners were killed and buried at the S-21 prison. As for foreigners, including Canadians, Americans, Australians, and British, guards were ordered to kill them and to burn their dead bodies so that no bones were left. The majority of the victims were trucked out to Chungik at about 8 or 9 o'clock p.m. to be killed. The guards took the prisoners from their cells to the main gate, where a large truck waited, and told them that they were being transferred to another place. This lie was created to prevent the prisoners from crying, refusing to go, or from escaping. In order to be well prepared for execution, a messenger from the defense unit was sent to the Chungik killing field in advance to inform a permanent team about the number of the prisoners to be killed that day.
Usually, the messenger went to the killing field by motorcycle in the mornings to ensure that a top secret was kept, and also that the execution was carried out properly. Dutch, Peng, and Hai were requested to attend by Sun Sen, the minister in charge of defense and security. Oftentimes, Dutch sat smoking on a mat near the pit to supervise the executions and to ensure their murderous plans. The number of prisoners executed at Chungik on a daily basis varied from a few dozen to over 300. The latter figure was recorded in May 1978 at the height of the pursuits in the Eastern Zone. On a monthly basis, 2 or 3 trucks would go from S-21 to Chuang Ek. Each truck held 3 or 4 guards and 20 to 30 frightened, silent prisoners. When the trucks arrived at the site, 2 guards seated with prisoners jumped from the canvas and took prisoners down, shoved them into a small building. The building was constructed from wood with a galvanized steel roof, and its walls were built with 2 layers of flat wood to darken the room, and also to prevent prisoners seeing each other. Then, with the electricity light supplied by a generator, Penh or Hai, the heads of capturers subunit, verified prisoners, names against a must-smash list prepared by the head of documentation unit. Suzdai, this list ensured that no one prisoner was missed. Prisoners were led in small groups to ditches and pits that were dug in advance by another team stationed permanently at the site. They were told to kneel down, and then they were clubbed on the neck with tools such as card axle, hose, stick, wooden club, or whatever else served as a weapon of death. They were sometimes stabbed with knives or swords to save using bullets, which were deemed to be too expensive, Dutch said. We had instructions from the party on how to kill them, but we didn't use bullets, and usually we slit their throats. We killed them like chickens. Him Huai, who took the prisoners to be killed at Chuang Ek, recalled. They were ordered to kneel down at the edge of the hole. Their hands were tied behind them. They were beaten on the neck with an iron ox cart axle, sometimes with 1 blow, sometimes with 2. Soon after prisoners were executed, the head of inspectors made sure that no one was alive, according to a witness who came to Chuang Ek just 2 days after Liberation Day, January 7, 1979, said that at the site there was a small hut with chemical substances. He guessed that executioners scattered these substances over the dead bodies of the victims after execution. This action might have served 2 purposes. First, to eliminate the stench from the dead bodies, which could potentially raise suspicion among people working near the killing fields, and secondly, the chemicals would have killed off victims who were buried alive. Unfortunately, these poisonous substances were lost in 1979. Kong San, an ex-Khmer Rouge soldier of 703 Division, recalled at that time he had grown rice near Chuang Ek, and when the wind blew strongly, sometimes he smelt a stench. He thought the smell was just the stench of decomposing dead pets. But after the Khmer Rouge regime was toppled, he found out that Chuang Ek was a killing field. At the end, when the execution was completely finished, the killers washed their body and killing tools in a ditch near the site. The list at Chuang Ek was submitted to Suzdai to double-check that no prisoners was missed.